Great. I always find that's a good thing when people come out of breakfast, they've had a good meal last night, they're in London, it's a sunny day. What's not to enjoy? London's one of the finest cities in the world, and we have one of the finest gatherings of people here, certainly the corporate investment community. So we're delighted to have 2 days of action-packed, exciting, intellectual, stimulating debate. But most importantly, hopefully, it's a chance for many of you to re-engage with old acquaintances, deal partners, look at some startups, look at some ideas about making the world a better place. I'm going to introduce Nicolas, who's sitting to my right here, in a few minutes, but I just wanted to do a couple of quick thank yous as well. Obviously, thank you to Paul Morris and those who supported the GCV Institute over the past 2 days. That was a fantastic opportunity to understand how not just the CVCs can develop their skills, but also bring together the C-suite, the business units, so that they can help land the value of corporate venture. Obviously, my thanks to the sponsors, all the speakers, all you as attendees. My special thanks, of course, to the team. It's a lot of hard work that's gone into developing this symposium, which is our 11th. And so it's a great honour to work with them and see this sort of work in action. It's nice to be back, to be honest, as well, at a live in-person event as well. So I'm delighted to sort of showcase, in fact, how this symposium and some of the work that you all are doing is that sort of beacon on the hill, how the world is going to be through the investments you're all making. We'll be coming to more of that, as we come through this sort of this expected downturn, this so-called age of ashes. It becomes more important to think about the leadership that you're all bringing. And so we'll have a number of conversations and panels and keynotes. And the first step in terms of understanding how the GCV benchmarking by Jana, as well as the Institute, can hopefully help bring together the professionalism and understand the future ecosystem. Our next events, obviously, after this are in California, next month in Sao Paulo in Brazil, and in Tokyo in Japan later this year, and we'll do a number of other sort of more specialist leadership meetings for the community alongside it. And innovation, of course, remains transformation through it all. Obviously, in front of you should have a copy of the latest book that we did. We did Corporate Venture in a Survival Guide a couple of years ago. This one on transformative innovation. I had the honor of co-authoring with Christine Gulbranson, who was the former CEO of Sergey Brin's family office and previous the Chief Innovation Officer at the University of California system. So she was able to bring sort of the 2.5 million alumni out of the university system together and some of the insights that she's developed over the past 25 years in venture and innovation. And so now, we're going on towards this idea of, how we can understand the key issues of our time, not just the age of ashes, the economic downturn, but the importance of security. A number of the speakers today, whether from NATO and InQtel and NSIF, will understand how we can think about protecting the deals that we do and protecting the corporate parents, but also if we think about security more holistically around climate change, around obviously going through the pandemic, the importance of healthcare, and a number of other factors, we foresee that this type of topic around security will become increasingly important. So we'll be thinking more about this over the next couple of years as well. And now, I have the great pleasure of turning to Nicolas Sauvage. Delighted to have you chairing this opening morning. Thank you very much, Nicolas. He's president of TDK Ventures, and last night was one of the winners, the top 1% of the overall industry as part of the GCV Power List. So I won't say too much apart from to say, do check out what Nicolas has been doing at TDK. It is truly inspiring and impressive. And also check out his podcast series. You'll see in the sort of Power List a number of the golden nuggets that he's been able to identify from more than 50 interviews with you as peers in that community. It really is a fantastic series of interviews that you've been doing. So it's a great pleasure to have you here, joining us at the London Symposium, Nicolas. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Can we give a round of applause to the GCV team? All right. Good morning. I am Nicolas Sauvage, president of TDK Ventures. And it feels so special to be here today. That's my first international trip since March 2020, so really special. Maybe some for you too. So I join Jim in welcoming you to a super packed 2 days event. And I just want to quickly note how meaningful today is going to be. As most of us here can already sense, the market conditions are changing, and we will be going through interesting and challenging times. And that will all impact us, and that will impact our entrepreneurs too, that we serve. So, yes, we had some years of strong performance, and I think we all feel good about it. But both economical and geopolitical and supply chain issues are creating uncertainties for our community. And probably most of us are asking, how will this impact our company, our mothership? How will this impact my CVC? How will it impact our portfolio companies? How do we continue to support entrepreneurs? How do we adapt our investment strategy moving forward? And they are just hard questions that I look forward to discussing and debating with all of you today and tomorrow. But here I want to give my teaser of my thinking here on this topic. Be patient and be impatient. So to be patient means to take the time to do the right thing, to contribute to society solving meaningful problems, but also to be impatient, to refuse that we cannot change the world around us today, especially as our planet demands urgent actions. So my wish for all of us today is to be patient and impatient, to act with a sense of purpose, but also with a sense of urgency. And so in these upcoming challenging times, entrepreneurs are going to need our patience. And patient capital, of course, but also being able to have our support along their journey to make sure that they can deliver on their lives' projects. And this is a why we wake up every morning for. And we should not lose this North Star as we go through the current conditions. So I am a firm believer in the power of a vibrant and purposeful ecosystem. Purposeful. And that's really special, Jim, for me to be here. And actually, I'll deviate from my speech a little bit to say that my first event, even before TDK Ventures was started, was in Monterey, January 2019. And TDK Ventures would not be what it is today without GCV and everyone in the event from all the CVCs sharing very openly the best practices. So anyone who was in January 2019 in Monterey, thank you. Now that I've said that, I need to go back to my thinking. So I'm a big promoter and advocate for raising the bar for the whole CVC ecosystem. So here, this is where I'm telling you, Jim, that we are two peas in a pod. And we cannot succeed. I don't think so. You will see, it's more than that. Okay. Yes. We cannot succeed as smart investors without understanding the value different players bring to the game. And what Jim and his team at GCV have created is really this safe place where we can debate, we can be together, we can network, we can hear from each other firsthand, and maybe understand a different point of view from one another, especially when we always have the same questions about are you strategic or financials. And so I think this is where debate is so useful. But also access to engage in thought-provoking sessions. And I think the next 2 days are going to be packed with that, with a wide range of speakers, but not all CVCs, actually. You're going to have diversity of panelists and speakers, which I think makes these events even more special. And that's why I said earlier, two peas in a pod. Because at TDK Ventures, we are hosting 2 annual events around digital transformation, which we call DX, and energy transformation, which we call EX. And so we have one annual event, which is called Energy Week, and another one called DX Week. And what we try to do is very similar to what you're doing here, which is we bring different panelists from academia, industry, investors, governments, and entrepreneurs together to debate together. And most of the events we see are just investors, or just entrepreneurs, or just academia. But getting everyone combined is so meaningful. So I think that creates the next level of debates and good ideas. So the goal of these annual events is to create an open, meaningful dialogue so that the ecosystem as a whole can scale and elevate its contribution to the success of the entrepreneurs and their projects. which in turn helps us to meet our mission to contribute to a more sustainable and attractive future. So on that note, I want to applaud GCV, also for the effort in developing the GCV Institute, which I wish existed back in January 2019. Paul, so actually, maybe I should say that Paul gave me this training, how was it called?
GCV Academy.
GCV Academy, and that was just before I went to the Monterey event. So that was actually really good. So Paul, where are you? Okay, thank you, Paul. And so it's important to know that the GCV Institute is really meaningful today, even more so than before. Kaloyan, our data extraordinaire, helped me to identify that during the pandemic, we saw a surge of new CVCs being established, new CVCs. And the latest data was 51% of new deals involving a CVC were born during the pandemic. Think about it, 51% of CVCs investing during the pandemic were born during the pandemic. That gives us pause, because that means there are so many new players that need our help. So simply put, this is a record number of newcomers joining our community, many of whom will need and welcome training. Speaking for a newbie, I really welcomed all the help I received from the community. And it's unique skill sets. It's nearly like apprenticeship and know-how required for our corporate venturing industry. So the GCV Institute, for me, combines extensive research data, which is really useful, but partners up with industry leaders to offer this kind of training ground. And so I'm very excited to see more good things coming from it. And I'm very biased about it, to the point where I can tell you I had 3 of my TDK Ventures members attending the last training, and I think they completed last week. And they were very happy with it. So if you haven't checked out for your teams about the GCV Institute, check it out. It's really important. And getting to the end. So I want to close by sharing one of TDK's venture core values with you. So we call it Code of Conduct for CODE. C is for contributing to society. O is one team reaching for the sky. D is delivering deep insights, which is all the strategic value. And E is entrepreneurs first. And so the O is the one team reaching for the sky. And for us, we consider everyone inside TDK Ventures and the many teams inside TDK Mothership as one team. And when we bring TDK goodness to startups, we work together and look for opportunities to work smarter, work more efficiently to help entrepreneurs succeed by accelerating their project and minimizing risks along the way, and allowing them to gain access to more resources at all stages of their journey. So in practice, we strive to stretch that core value even further and to work with our partners from different corners of the ecosystem. And by working together and sharing insights openly, we can and we will achieve more, ultimately contributing even more to our venture capital community and raise the bar. So I look forward to meeting many of you today. I know I had so many requests on Brella, which I still have to catch up with, but I'm available, I'm going to be around, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I haven't managed to work with the Brella thing so well. And continuing the conversation. I'm sure you're going to enjoy the symposium, making new friends, gain useful insights through the thoughtful agenda and activities carefully planned by the GCV teams. And now, please join me in welcoming our first speaker of the event, our data extraordinaire, Kaloyan. And of course, I forgot the page where you're being mentioned, so I don't have your bio. But I think you all know Kaloyan. And one thing I want to say is that he has helped us to do this article I mentioned about this 51% of the new corporate VCs being born during the pandemic. And this type of insight is so useful for us to know where we should go as a community and where we should put focus and attention. And one thing that maybe I should leave before I ask Kaloyan to introduce is we should not think just about us who are already connected, but all these new CVCs that are not yet connected and how we can help them. Because at the end, we strive to support entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurs are going to have a choice of VCs and CVCs But not all CVCs are born equal, and some are very new, and we need to find a way to help them to help entrepreneurs.